Good day, viewers, wherever you're watching OGTV live across the globe. Welcome to your program, Peace and Conflict Resolution on OGTV. I am Oba Oluwa Seunfunmi Ogunleye. And today we shall be looking into a particular topic that has to do with our community, our traditional rulers, and the society at large. What are we talking about? We're talking about the role of traditional rulers in making ADR, alternative dispute resolution, a reality for people to access justice at ease without pain, without going through this long time, process of litigation. The role of traditional rulers in promoting alternative dispute resolution. Yes, in the house I have my guest, Barrister Adegbenro Ogunbade. You're welcome, Barrister.
It's my pleasure being here. Thank you.
And in the house as well, beside me, Kábíyèsí Ọba Olúfẹ́mi Ògúnléyè. He's a PhD holder in law, and if Kábíyèsí has said we shouldn't mention that, we must not mention that because we are subject to. Kábíyèsí, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate it.
And what are we talking about today? The role of Obas, the role of traditional rulers, before we come down to the baales and other chiefs like that, in making alternative dispute resolution a reality, closer to the people. Because when we talk about alternative dispute resolution, I want to ask Kábíyèsí, the role of traditional rulers in making or in promoting alternative dispute resolution. How do you see them playing a vital role in making it a reality?
Well, thank God that in this contemporary period, experts in law and jurisprudence have thought it right to develop what we call alternative dispute resolutions, and particularly putting emphasis on mediation. Because arbitration, conciliation, and others are in the other extreme, particularly in commercial business, you use arbitration. But mediation has not been taken so seriously before because of its voluntariness and not what they consider as non-binding.
Okay.
But today, thank God to the mechanism of the law, is binding both internationally and then locally. Nigeria has even domesticated all the laws, all the international law that made mediation binding. We have even made a law, Arbitration and Mediation Act of 2023, have made it binding. Therefore, it is very, very good. Like I said earlier, Yobani Akintiko today, Kadiore. Mediation is a vital thing that can make relationship to continue. That's the most important thing. Relationship must be sustained. When you have disputes, you bring them to a mediator, he calls the two parties together, he sifts information from both parties and help them to arrive at an outcome. It's not a judge, the mediator is not a judge, it's not to give directive, but it will help them making their own outcome themselves. Once they have agreed on the outcomes and it's written as an agreement, it becomes binding. The only thing the mediator can do is to take this thing to the multi-door court and get a judge to sign it as a judgment of consent.
Yes.
Therefore, it becomes binding. And it gives room for all of you to become friends, irrespective of how bad you have spoken to yourself. And in the mediation, for instance, there is no room for legalese, all these legal technicalities. You talk straight. You open up to the mediator, and then he assembles you and take from A, from B, and join them together and become something reasonable, and then you settle. So we think it's very good. I'm very happy as a traditional ruler in the last 5 years or so that I've established mediation in Akale, and it's working very well. Even the most difficult subject, land issues, we sit down together and solve, because you will tell histories. I mean, as a lawyer, my brother here, you know the history in land matter. You talk about epitome and abstract. This tells you the history, how the land devolved to you. But people tell lies. The people go and make history themselves. But you can hardly say that one now, because people too when you are meditating, when you are talking, you can just, if you are finding difficult, go back into caucus meetings, call the parties one by one, tell them their weaknesses, tell them their strength, tell them the opportunities they have, and then come back to plenary where they will have seen their fault, and then they will agree, and that's the job of it all.
Kabiyesi, you've heard from Kabiyesi Oba Olufemi Adewumi Ogunleye, Towulade of Akinale Kingdom. We cannot rule out alternative dispute resolution. Now, let me ask you, Barrister Ogunbade, oftentimes when crises want to break out, crises normally break out from the community, from community to society and to the city. Why is it like that?
Well, we should appreciate the fact that when we're talking about our Obas and the chiefs, they are altogether referred to as traditional institutions.
Yes.
And we should also appreciate the fact that the traditional institution is as old as our society itself. So in that regard, if that is the template that has been in existence right from the time we recognize ourselves as a member of any society, then they appear to be, in this regard, a lender of last resort, as in the final arbiter in a particular matter. You know, in our traditional settings now, we understand it from the concept of the family, the father, the mother.
Yes.
If there is a conflict from that level, it can degenerate to become a family to family. From that family, from neighborhood to neighborhood, the entire community will be involved at the end of the day. And if such a community or such society is under the rulership of a particular chief or particular Oba, then the final arbitrating point, the final mediation point will have to be that traditional institution. So we thank God in our Yoruba society, we have come to understand that concept as a means of resolving our disputes. Yeah. Definitely, if any issue comes up, if they tell you that it is the king's palace that the matter will be resolved. So we have that idea, we have that value that this is an house, this is a place we should respect, this is a place we should obey. And in such instance, if a matter comes up and it goes to that level, you know, the awesomeness of even appearing before a king itself in the old traditional setup is enough to even quell the flame of discord within the parties. Yeah. If you are, let's say, the Alaafin of old, the way people view them, the might and power they express, not only express that they just act with, you know, they understand that you are before an authority. And in that regard, people have that belief that that's where the concept comes, Tobalashe. So whatever the king decide, that's what will be the day. That's what will be the top of the day. So in that regard, if conflict occurs, that system of resolving through traditional mediation means has always been in existence. So it is not something that is just being practiced now. But if it is being embraced over all, across all the saints, across all the scepters, yes, then definitely is a welcome idea. If we have such, we are used to getting to hear of Idiere. That's for the Alake. And I'm glad now the other kingdoms are taking cue from this. You have that of the Mapo Hall of old, yeah, where the baalies of many Ibadan towns sit down and discuss and arbitrate on matters. So it has come a long way. If it has now taken the toga of getting recognition, yeah, by the government, yeah, because even in the days of yore, it used to be traditional authority all over, yeah, before the elite took over. But as it is now, if the setup we have is the traditional institution also living up to the expectation of, being an arbiter in dispute, then it is a welcome idea. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Barrister Ogunbade. Kabiyesi, when we talk about peace, anywhere peace want to dwell, there must be security. These days, if you don't hear about kidnappers today, you heard about bandits. And several things are going on. Kabiyesi, the role of Oba in making security a key point, if I may say, the old ways of securing the community, is anything wrong with those things?
Well, thank you very much for bringing this idea. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, I will tell you my experience. When I was young, in Akinle, where I am now, we had one Baba, Olubale, they called him.
Olubale.
Baba Olubale. He was the watchman, not only for Akinle, for 7 other villages where we are their neighbors. And the man would not leave his house at night. Because at night, he would come to my father's house as Bale, and they would chat, they would do anything, but he would sleep in his house, but he's the watchman. There is no single ole or thief or these night murderers that will attempt to go into any of these villages. And I'll tell you one example. What happened? There's a village near us after Awo. They call the place Ojo. There was a businessman in those days who would take money from marketing board to buy cocoa and kane. So the period is when they get this money. They understood, they knew when they was getting money. And the village is so small, about 10 houses in that village. So when these bandits came at night, so it's not, what is happening today is not new. It's been on before. They came with a Land Rover. I think this was way by 1954, there, I was a small boy. They came and locked up every other people in their houses and put one of them in their windows. That if we had noise, we didn't come for you. So they went straight to this man who had this bag of money from government to buy things. And they wanted to rob him. When they got to his house, the man fought 3 of them. He fought them and knocked them on the ground. They are there. They didn't die, but they are there. Nobody can live off limit. They wanted to take the bag of the money. Instead of them to take the bag of the money, the bag of the money became a termite shield, how do you call it? Termite dung. And so until 5:30 a.m. when the man came to wake up people in the village, including my father, and they went to the village, they brought police from Ifo. It's when the police came that they were able to wake those people. Those 3 people that they put on ground. Wow. Now, what I'm trying to say is that these are what has been happening in those days. What has happened to us that we cannot get this thing. It is the involvement of government into the erosion of government into traditional leadership that has stopped it. Before, our fathers were very powerful. There's something they cannot do. But when the government came, when the British force came, when they turned them into tax collectors, after they went, the position started. You come to my palace, you double to greet me and say you want to campaign for chairman. When I tried every bit to say you are a good boy, we voted for you. After you have become a chairman, you are my boss. I cannot go to them without seeing you. So how can where is the power of traditional leader to say thief should not come to your house? You can only manage your village. When we are asking for the role of Oba in the constitution, we meant it so that when we have the role, we will have the power to arrange things. And you cannot make a law that we do not know about it and want it not to function. You know, even the anthropologist theory that you know as a lawyer, there's no law you make if you don't take the cognizance of the culture of the people. That law may hardly function. So involve the Obas in making law, making the security. We are talking. I'm happy. I'm in the task force for National Agency for Prevention of Human Trafficking. The human trafficking, they start from villages because they will come and convince you. The old man is very vulnerable. I can take it away without knowing that child or that fellow they are taking away. They are going to take the organ or use that for anything. But once the law is made and the man is educated, as that next time you will not allow that to happen in his village. Come back to what I'm saying. We must be involved in everything, either the law or regulation or anything. We shall give you every standard we need to make sure that the people live well.
Kabiyesi, thank you so much. We shall go on a very short break, and when we come back, we shall continue. Yes, welcome back to the show, Peace and Conflict Resolution. I still have my guest in the house, Barrister Ogunbade. You see, when we talk about security, like Kabiyesi rightly said earlier, the so-safe, the vigilante, the Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn that we have now, do you see them working to the expectation of the public?
Well, I must state that right from the time when this agitation for local security operatives, local police started, the fear as at that time was the fact that their main aim and obligations may be hijacked by politics. Let me say politics now. So that those in the office may try to satisfy the whims and caprices of anybody who is in authority. But we have at our hand a situation of serious insecurities here and there. There were villages then, even in this Egba district, that we used to go when we were still young then. I doubt if anybody could venture to do that now. Even night travelings. Yeah. People move around 2 a.m., 10 to 3 a.m., especially in the southwest without any fear before now. But I doubt if anybody can venture to do that lately. And in that instance, the security apparatus that we have may not be enough. We cannot rely only on the police. And definitely there needs to be and some other aspects which we will look into. Maybe exactly that's what gave rise to Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn, the vigilantes, the other sorts that we have. And in this regard, ordinarily security is not a sole institution's business. It's not for the government alone.
No.
Like Kabiyesi rightly said, these are aspects, one of the aspects in which the traditional institution ought to be brought in. Let them be relevant. Let them even put, let them make inputs into these aspects. This is essentially what they require the government to do. This is essentially the personnel that we require. This is what we should be giving them every now and then. So if this system stays in place and we have a system of even engaging people, allowing people to make inputs, you understand, we will have a robust system. Definitely. Where everybody will be secured, everybody will be free to go about at any point in time. You know, all these things started from seeing people lavishing wealth without any sources.
Flaunting what they do.
Flaunting it, what they do not get. And you cannot even vouch for their means of livelihood. If we can take it off from there, definitely we'll get somewhere. So it's not an issue of laying the blame on the government alone. No. Everybody is involved. It is all encompassing. And if we have a system where other units are coming in, we should support them, cooperate with them, and even with the introduction of the introduction of allowing the traditional institution to even make inputs, definitely we will get there.
Thank you. Kabiyesi, many of our mamas and babas in the village, they are all running away now. Not because of any other thing, because of they don't want to get kidnapped, that are being killed by, there are a lot of molestation going on in the rural side there. Would I not welcome farming on our land?
Well, as you have said, I want to call your attention to what my learned brother said earlier. All of us are involved, not even the government alone. Although the hosting, any money anybody is making in this country today, the main source for government, because it's still public body.
Yes.
Be you a contractor, be you anything. You see, when people get money in a way that's not supposed to be so, and they still flaunt it into the eyes of poor people, there will be, the bandits will remain now. What bandits are doing is to get their own share of the money. They want money now. The bandit to say, before we had, in those days when we had Goma, it's not Goma that will say, before you release your child, go and bring 10 million. But it has gotten to that level today. So before they can ask you to go and bring 10 million, they know that you must have gotten this money because they see your colleagues, they see your immediate friends, they see somebody going to party and flaunting money. So what we should do, like we said earlier, we can only appeal to government to put us in positions that we can put our body. We can on our own without even seeking government permission to begin to introduce our own measure locally with that. That's what I said earlier. Locally, call your people in your village, call your vigilante, call láti jọ wọn ní ọdẹ náà tó ń ṣọ́ lùkàgìrì. Community line, not then leave. Or they now have cool now, they now have protect that. So one day she wa. tó bá ní pé o dé tó bá dá nǹkan lẹ̀ tí ìjà lọ bá kú ẹ ìjà lọ alẹ́ wọn lè dúró ìjà lọ ò lè bọ́ ṣòkòtò ó lè bọ́ tó lè bá dé tó fẹ́ ju ìran tó yẹ ìjà lọ́wọ́ tó ń gbọ́sẹ̀ báyìí kò lè ráyè kò lè jà àwọn nǹkan ẹ̀dẹ̀ ṣì wà. What are we saying? So let all of us sit down àtọ̀bá ńlá àtọ̀bá kékeré àti baálẹ̀ we should sit down together and research into ourselves and then rethink and see what way can we do to make our communities safe. That's what we need. Control where you are. If I'm earning 200,000 naira a month and I notice that for me to be able to live well, I want to spend that 100,000 naira to keep my environment well, good, so be it. Let me call other people and let us say, this is what I have. Let us share. I tell you one example. One day, NEPA, I thought it was NEPA. I woke up at about 3 a.m. I didn't see light. I thought it was, so the following morning I went to see the what do you call it? The transformer in our village. I called an elderly man to join me. We saw that the cable had been removed. It means some people came there, they went to the cable, and when we saw the remnants of the cable, they have opened it and take the copper wire inside. I begged the older man. The older man said, well, like our people say, it's a mercy man. They are wise people. Say, Baba, since look, use your whatever means to find me who did this thing. After 3 days, man said they didn't say anything. I said, okay, you didn't say anything. Okay, I want to do what. So I now put the gong to put gong to say every young old people should assemble at the village square meeting where my father used to judge in those days in the village. And they came by 4 p.m. on that day. And I went to my father's room, old father's room. I brought in a dingon, washed it in their presence, put water, put in the cup. I drank part. I said all of them should drink because I know all of you are clean people. You are not thief, but I want to find out those amongst you who are strangers who have come to our village to tamper with our transformer. They didn't do it. So one element said, Kabiyesi, Baba Elojo, I'll be like my father. They don't do this. Let me see. So they went by and said, they have found out they didn't find out the stealer, but they have brought the money to repair the thing. They pay money, and we pay the thing. I don't bother who did it, but the thing was prepared for me.
Of course.
Those are the traditional way of getting things done.
Yeah. Barrister, on your parting note, what do you see and what is your advice to our viewers out there?
Well, that's the way we started anyway. Let's respect our institutions, the traditional institution, the political institution, the government institution. Let's respect. If everybody respects law, there will be harmony, there will be peace. There won't be need for police to be looking for people all about. You see all these youngsters that took into cultism. What has been their motive so far? Yeah. What has been their gain? You understand? Any form of vice that anybody wants to take to should be viewed as an anathema in the society. Something that should not even be heard of. Let's live right. Let's make peace. That's what the religious institution has been saying all along. And our fathers too. That's what they brought us up with. And if, nevertheless, dispute will do occur. Whenever it occurs, approach the right institution. Approach the correct institution. If you cannot be in an urban society, even if you are in a local community, you have chiefs there. You have elderly people. Approach them for mediation, for ADR. And even the Ogun State Multi-Door Court is there. Approach them. And the resolution will be for everyone at the end of the day.
Thank you. Kabiyesi, your parting shot.
Well, we thank God that we are saying this. It should be a continuous thing so that people could continue to learn. Yes. Like you have recently known, we are making impact like it has been done by our forefathers, like Idiri that you mentioned in Ake, establishing meditation center in Owu, where we have trained neutrals. We have trained some of our noblemen and chiefs into the modern way of meditating. We took them to Multi-Door to see the practicality of it, and then they have learned. So instead of cutting yourself with the cutlasses in the villages and fighting, come back to palace. Then we assign you neutrals to listen to your case, and we said to you, and then you become friends. That's the joy of it. So let us embrace meditation, and let us follow the law and keep peace wherever we are. That will be the joy of it all.
Yes, viewers out there, thank you for being there. You must have learned something. And what we have discussed today, I want to believe that is going to favor someone out there. Just before we go, Kabiyesi, I must thank you immensely.
Thank you very much.
And Barrister Ogunbade, thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
And I want to believe when next we call on you, you will be here.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And till we see next week, I want you to always remember this. You and I can build a conflict-free society if we appreciate the importance of peace in our society. I am Oba Seunfunmi Ogunleye. I'll see you next time, next week, same station. Thank you.